someone who deserved that position. It's Jumaane Williams.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Who's Palestinian? Just want to say you're real, and your state is real. So I'm glad to stand with you today. But I do want to put some context to where I'm coming from because I try to be consistent on this issue. So I do differ slightly. I have defended and will continue to defend very close friends of mine who are Palestinian and often speak in this issue as not being anti-Semitic. So I am not prepared to stand today to say that Councilman Yeager is a bigot. I know him very well, and I haven't heard bigoted things from him. I do want to say that I believe and have always understood that Middle East politics is a fault. I apologize always to everyone because I cannot solve the Middle East crisis. And I do not think most of the elected officials, even though we're more and more asked to do so, can solve the Middle East crisis. What I do know is there oftentimes has not been consistency in who we are condemning and who we are not. And that's where I come from today. Because for years and years, there seems to be one side that controlled who was saying damaging words. And so I go back to someone like Marc Lamont Hill, who in fact is paid to opinionate, and said some words, opine. Opinionate not who's paid to opine, and said the words from the river to the sea. The backlash was furious and swift to the point where he was fired. And I tried to understand where the people who believed that he should be fired came from, because I don't know what those words mean to them the way they explained it. And so when we get to someone who is an elected official, who's supposed to speak on behalf of everyone, say that Palestine does not exist, you do not get to say what those words mean to the Palestinian people and the people who spread them. So if we're going to be consistent, we have to be consistent. And so for me, I believe there's a geopolitical discussion that has been going on for centuries and decades that heads of state have not been able to solve. I think things are true at the exact same time. I am also for a two-state solution. I also know that Israel has safety concerns. I also know that Palestine believes and is fighting for land that believe is rightfully theirs. I believe there is human rights violations occurring in some of those disputed lands. All of those things can be true. Please stop asking people to make selections of which are true and not. I do not know how to solve the hodgepodge of all of those things. But I do know we have to be consistent. And for a very long time, many of the people behind me felt there was no accountability when people spoke out against them. And so that is why I am supporting what the council has decided to do. Because there has to be some accountability on both sides of this discussion. And if we want to be honest, the reason there wasn't is because people felt there was no political repercussions that would occur if you stand with the Palestinians. And that is not a good reason not to defend them. People who have a right to say their homeland exists, people who have a right to engage about what land is theirs and is not, those are things we have to be consistent with. But what I hope we do now is that everybody take a step back and say there's an issue here that none of us can solve and there's legitimacies all over. Let's just be consistent on this discussion because now everybody's getting caught up. This is critically important as we move forward, and all of us are trying to fight on housing issues and justice issues right here in New York City. So what I'm asking for is consistency in this discussion when it comes to Middle East politics. And I will continue to stand with everybody that has consistency on those issues and everybody who wants to fight for equity and justice for everyone. I'm happy that the City Council decided that it was within their bandwidth to make sure that consistency exists. Thank you.